thank you very much for inviting me. I'm going to try and talk about populism, and if maybe some of you can't follow me in English, at least there'll be a sequence of charming illustrations of people who you can watch. Well, there's a lot of populism about in the world at present. The United States has elected Donald Trump. Europe has long been fascinated or appalled by Marine Le Pen, Nigel Farage, Geert Wilders, Beppe Grillo, and Frauke Petry, the head of the German Alternative für Deutschland. In Scandinavia, some populists share power in coalition, for example in Finland. In Hungary, a man called Viktor Orban is prime minister alone. Your part of the world in South America seemed to be bucking the trend, at least in Argentina, Brazil, and Peru. But then the Ecuadorians elected Lenin Moreno a couple of weeks ago, and Maduro is clinging on to power in Venezuela. Autocracies like China, of course, are also not immune to populism. It would be a mistake to think that populism doesn't exist in China. For example, when the last Chinese president, Hu Jintao, was a little weak, as many people thought, in reacting to things the Japanese did, and by that time some Chinese chauvinists were burning down Panasonic and Sony factories and then overturned police cars as well. Lots of people posted packets of calcium tablets to Hu Jintao, and what they were telling him was grow a backbone and stand up to the Japanese. So you can have populism in an authoritarian system like China. So there's a lot to discuss, but first of all, what is populism? The dictionary definition of populist is simple enough, and I quote, "a member or adherent of a political party seeking to represent the interests of ordinary people." That's what my Oxford English Dictionary says. That isn't entirely correct, since there have been populist movements that did not evolve into political parties. In the late 1940s, Italy had Guglielmo Giannini's Fronte dell'Uomo Qualunque, or the Common Man's Front, and more famously, because it lent itself to a new political term, there was a movement which was named after the French bookseller, Pierre Poujade, there he is on the right, whose dates were 1920 to 2003, and he launched a shopkeepers' movement to protest about sales taxes in France and the spread of big department stores which were undercutting small shops. That was in the 1950s. And Poujadism is basically what many snobbish liberals